We're back here on the Lynn Hayes Freelance Show. I am so happy to be back at work. You have no idea. I've got this big smile on my face, which kind of goes right in line with the event we're talking about, The Power of Laughter. It's coming up on the 15th of September. And one of the things we've been talking about is responding, reacting quickly. And that's where CPR comes in. Now, I don't know about you, but I just found out there's something called hands-only CPR. Talk to me just a little bit about that.
Sure. We encourage hands-only CPR just to get people comfortable. They witness somebody going down, a medical emergency, cardiac arrest. They'll be able to jump into action and do something rather than standing around. It's called bystander hands-only CPR.
And the other thing is that if people are wondering, it is just as effective as traditional CPR, which where we did the compressions and the breathing.
Okay.
But in order to engage more bystanders and get people to respond, hands-only CPR, because of its two simple steps, has been much easier to kind of get out there and get people to learn and get involved in doing.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have in front of us our three people who coincidentally all went down at the same time.
People call them dummies. I like to refer to them as mannequins. These are the mannequins that you would have in the family and friends hands-only CPR kit. Now, that's through the American Heart Association. You can go to our website, which we'll get into a little later. But this will help you understand like how hard you have to push. And it's kind of hard. We were doing it during the break. It's kind of hard. So you want to put the butt of your hand right in the center of the chest, right in the center of the chest, and put your other hand over, kind of clasp it like that, and then just push hard and fast, 100 to 100 beats per minute.
Wait a minute. So is each beat one of those clicks?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's one, two, three, and you have to do it to the sound of "Staying Alive" or "Crazy in Love." Beyonce's "Crazy in Love."
Staying alive.
And so you have to continue to do that. You see how hard it is? But you're saving somebody's life, so you have to push hard and fast. Call 911, and then put hard and fast.
Start in.
Yes.
Now, like we were talking about, this is a great thing to
I was gonna say, because that's not easy, and we were on the easy, soft mode.
So this gets you comfortable with it, but this does not certify you, but it's better than just standing around. I mean, you do the
real
heavy
coding.
duty, yes.
It's true. And I think the things that to remember in this situation is that most oftentimes your adrenaline's going to be running, right? Someone just went down and your own natural adrenaline's going to be running, and that is going to give you a little bit elevated strength during that time. So in the moment right now while we're practicing, but if we were trying to revive somebody, we would really be able to do it for a considerable amount of time, because our efforts would be trying to get that person back, and our own adrenaline will be taking over our emergency response to that.
But now this makes sense to me now, because earlier in the show you said you may start, someone else might pick it up. Well, now that makes total sense, because this process could go on for a while until paramedics arrive.
That's correct. That's correct. And then you should be able, if somebody else is around, trading off with that person and then letting them do it for several counts and then switching off certainly will help to keep that person around.
Now, I think one of the other things about the hands-only or CPR in general, I think that we're all concerned about the pressure, the amount of pressure. Now I have a better idea how much is involved. But then you always feel like you might hurt the person.
Right, and so it is very common that when you do this, you are going to break the person's sternum or sometimes their ribs. And don't be alarmed by that. In this moment, it's more important to get the person back. They oftentimes, if they're unconscious, they may not even feel it, but don't let it stop saving their life. That really does take precedence over the fact that you feel like you've broken their ribs or broken their sternum. But it kind of goes with it, with the amount of pressure that you're using. But that's what you do need to get to the heart, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to compress the work of that heart to get it to do what it normally does, and that's pump blood around to the rest of their organs, and particularly to their brain. So it is very important to do that, and to try not to be alarmed when that happens.
And you're also not 9 times out of 10 going to be on a desk. You know, we just didn't
Right.
want to be, the person
We didn't
who's
want to
down,
bend.
you're on
We
the
didn't want to have to
floor,
bend
right?
over.
You're going to be on the floor, so that's that momentum too that's pushing, that's helping you
Because
push
now
down.
you're
Right,
up
you're
higher.
standing
Yeah, that
over,
makes
right,
sense. Yeah,
right.
that makes sense.
So
Now, as you're going through this process, is there a moment when you realize, I don't want to say that it's been successful, but that it's working?
Yeah, so there are a couple things. So sometimes you can revive the person, you can restore the heartbeat, and that's the best case scenario. And then you just sustain, you know, help to sustain the person's airway and stuff until EMS arrives. And sometimes that person will regain consciousness at that moment. There are times where you do have to go a longer time and wait until EMS gets there, and then they have to use the electrical shock to get the heart back, or unless somebody brings an AED from
Okay.
somewhere. And we do recommend that if there are people who know where the
and how to use them.
AEDs and how to use them, that they should start that. So start compressions immediately, get the AED,
Right.
get that into action,
Okay.
and then EMS. Don't wait for EMS to arrive for that to happen, because what we're trying to do in all of this is to reestablish the electrical system of the heart.
Okay.
That rhythm, that system that gives you your heart rhythm, that then allows the heart to pump. Without that signal, the heart won't pump. You won't have oxygen to the brain. You will be passed out.
Okay.
And so, in that order, compressions. If you can get an AED, get that on board, and then EMS. But at the end of the day, don't stop. The best person.
And don't stop.
That's right. Don't stop. That's not our call to make what in the field, whether or not we think that this is effective or not.
Okay.
Give the person the to the hospital. Let them to determine whatever the outcome is at that moment. Your job is just to go into action, do the best that you can to try to reestablish the patient's oxygen and
Absolutely. Now, Karen, these kits will be available in some fashion at the Power of Laughter. And will there be an opportunity for folks to actually get to feel this and do this?
yes, so that's the whole point of it. We have the workshop. So at 11 o'clock when the doors open, people will be able to come in, and we'll have demonstrations going on throughout the day.
Wow, and it really is. I mean, just from my own experience, this is my first time doing this, but I have a whole different perspective.
And you
I'll
want
put
to
it.
straighten your arms.
Oh,
There
straight-
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep your
Straighten
arms
my
straight.
And then
All right, there's my click.
There you go.
There's my click. All right, we'll take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll give you all the details on the Power of Laughter, how you can get your tickets. So don't go away when the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show continues.